Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. So today the Liberal government announced they will attempt to cap emissions from the oil and gas industry by 35% below 2019 levels by 2030. This is from Greg McLean. He is a Conservative member of Parliament for Calgary Centre. He gives an awesome little brief summary of what is going on and how ridiculous this is. This is going to end disastrously, just like everything the Liberal NDP government does. This will end in scandal. It will end in jobs lost. It will end up costing taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. It will end up in scandal. Corruption. That is the embodiment of this Liberal NDP government. It will be their legacy. So, this is all happening at a time when Canadians are experiencing the worst decline in our living standards in 40 years. Our quality of life is continually in decline. The worst drop in per-person income in the G7. These are facts. The worst economic growth in the OECD and rising unemployment. They have taken aim at Canada's biggest contributor to export earnings and GDP. In brackets, 25% of exports in 2023, which equates to $209 billion of the GDP. Not to mention almost 1 million workers in the industry and many spin-off businesses. Constraining Canadian oil and gas will not help the global environment. Countries will simply buy the oil and gas they need from other producing countries, most of which have much lower environmental and labor standards than Canada. This policy will continue the impoverishment of Canadians while enriching many dictatorships and corrupt regimes. Canada's energy sector is the country's single largest private sector investor in clean technologies. It has clear record of reducing emissions and adhering to higher standards of environmental protections, the highest standards, Why does this government refuse to work with industry and provinces whose jurisdiction includes natural resources to develop export technology globally to everyone's benefit? Because their ideological blinders require them to use a blunt instrument on an industry the radical environment minister wants to shut down no matter the cost. Now, he says, why does this government refuse to work with industry? And why are they doing this? I'm going to show you the reason why I think that they are doing this in 1 second. I'm going to show you a little bit more. Here is Shannon Stubbs. Now, Shannon Stubbs is the Conservative member she is a Conservative MP for Lakeland. She is the shadow minister for natural resources. Okay. Now, she says, despite Minister Freeland's claim that their job-killing oil and gas emissions cap will create good jobs for Canadians, a report by Deloitte shows that this cap will cause Canada to suffer an economic loss equivalent to 1% of GDP and kill over 100,000 Canadian jobs. Liberals can spin it all they want, but this is the reality of the situation. Deliberate lack of pipeline capacity plus job-killing oil and gas cap equals production cap. Job losses, poverty, bankruptcies, brain drain, and more expensive and unaffordable fuel and power for you and I. After 9 years, Canadians know that just because the Liberals say so doesn't make it so. No, they are so incompetent. They have absolutely no idea what they are doing. Listen to this.
We believe that our policies are both bringing down emissions and bringing good jobs to Canada and Canadians.
Which is not true, Kate. Minister, since you're not going to answer, I have about a minute left.
In terms of GDP, since we're here to talk about... No, you didn't actually... You didn't order...
So we have a point of order. Minister Freeland, a brief... I want to give you a chance to answer on the GDP brief, and I'm going to go back to you, Mr. Helland, on the GDP answer you're just about to give, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay, TMX, which we're supposed to be here to talk about, is adding 0.25% to Canada's GDP. That is important. In the G7, Canada will have the second strongest GDP growth this year, and the IMF forecasts that we will have the strongest GDP growth next year, and it looks like we're achieving a soft landing after the greatest recession since the Great Depression.
Minister, just to correct your falsehood, you said 0.25% in GDP. In fact, your gas cap, oil and gas cap, is going to take a 1% hit to our GDP, according to Deloitte. You can shake your head all you want, Minister Wilkinson, but that's the truth.
Canada is surviving by an immigration economy. They're importing a whole bunch of people while at the same time paying them, giving them universal basic income with taxpayer dollars. It is a bailout. They're getting the best of both worlds. An economic bailout while bringing in Liberal voters, getting them reliant on government programs. so that if we ever get our election, Justin Trudeau can say, don't vote for Pierre Poilievre. He's going to take your free money away. That is the goal. It's what's going on globally. Continuing on. So this is why I believe they're doing all of this stuff. You can go on UNESCO's website. I reported on this over a year ago. They call it greening the basic income. It is global socialism. Quote, one policy could finance UBI and curtail carbon emissions, the carbon price and dividend, or in essence, a green basic income. Carbon price and dividend schemes are in place in Canada right now. So takeaways, I'm going to try and make this as brief as I can. So a green basic income is a straightforward way to deal with two of our most pressing issues, climate change and economic inequalities at the same time. This Liberal government is creating inequalities by suppressing innovation and development in oil and gas and many other industries. Carbon price and dividend schemes are in place in Canada and Switzerland, with dozens of other jurisdictions implementing forms of carbon pricing. Now, if you're wondering what carbon price and dividend schemes are, this is one of them. All you have to do, and I urge all of you to do this, just go on Google and type in green credits trading. This is a thought up currency made up of nothing, which is pretty much money. And they're trading it on stocks, green credits. So they use taxpayer dollars to fund it by creating an industry, a green industry, net zero, net carbon zero, whatever you want to call it. It has a whole bunch of different names. It is just a scheme held up on a foundation of taxpayer dollars, which gives them credits to trade for real money, for real dollars. The whole world is working on this right now. You can get apps to trade green credits, carbon credit trading market, buy carbon credits. Carbon credits are sold by governments to businesses and can be resold on the regulated carbon credit market. Carbon offsets are sold on the voluntary carbon credit market by organizations, projects, or individuals to fund their green projects. It's money laundering. Carbon credits, how they work. Get educated with all of this stuff. This is right from Canada.ca, Canada's greenhouse gas offset credit system. It has so many different names, and the reason it has so many different names, so nobody really knows what it is. They just know how to get in on it. They know how to make a bazillion dollars off of it while saying that we are lowering emissions, we are making the earth a better place, we are getting rid of poverty, all of these buzzwords. And then at the end of the day, nothing got built, emissions did not get lowered, poverty is still rising. You get it, because we're living this hellscape right now. And it's gonna get worse. I'm going to keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, follow me on Substack, Spotify, and YouTube. Take care.